What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So, one of the very few TV shows that has been fortunate enough to stand the test of time has of course been the Pokémon anime. With over 1,000 episodes and counting and 7+ regions traveled for Ash and his friends, they've basically seen everything there is to see when it comes to Pokémon, and Ash has caught a bunch of his own Pokémon himself. Anyways though, in this video I am going to be ranking every single one of Ash Ketchum's Pokemon that he has ever owned. However, there are a few quick disclaimers that we need to go over before we get into the video. Number 1, I am going to be including Pokemon that he has released because he obviously caught them and owned them at some point in time. Number 2, there is one Pokemon in particular that I'm not going to be counting, and that is Raticate. Ash technically did own a Raticate way back in the first season of the anime, but it was only for a half of an episode and he didn't even battle with it, so that Pokemon I'm not counting since it wasn't technically his in the first place. And finally, this list is determined by a number of different factors. Number 1, it is my opinion on the overall Pokemon itself. Number 2, it has to do with the characteristic and the personality of Ash's individual Pokemon itself. And number 3, we are going to be looking at how well each of these Pokemon actually did in battle. Now, there isn't a 100% accurate way to know how well each of Ash's Pokemon has done in battle over the years. However, we do have this handy dandy chart that was made by an unknown person, so thank you unknown person, that gives us a pretty accurate representation of how well each of his Pokemon did. Granted, it's a little bit out of date because it doesn't include Sun and Moon, but it's still the best frame of reference that we have, so we're going to be referring to it throughout the video. Oh, and one more quick thing, I'm only going to be looking at the fully evolved versions of each of Ash's Pokemon. So for example, I'm only going to look at Charizard, not Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. With all of that said though, we've still got 48 Pokemon to cover here, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Okay, so coming in dead last at number 48 is Pignite. Now, I've said in the past why I do not like Pignite the Pokemon at all, but I really do not like Ash's Pignite because as a Tepig, it used the exact same plotline that 2 of Ash's previous fire starters did as well, in the whole, oh, I was abandoned by my previous trainer, and then Ash finds it and becomes its friend and it joins its team. Yeah, Charmander did that and Chimchar did that before you, Tepig, so get the freaking heck out of here. At number 47 is Palpitoad because it's a derp, and not in the good way. At number 46 is Leavanny, and while I don't really hate Leavanny, I just don't really think it fits that well on an Ash Ketchum team. At number 45 is Torkoal, and while I really like Torkoal the Pokemon, Ash's Torkoal kinda sucks because it's a bit of a crybaby, and it has one of the worst win percentages of any of Ash's Pokemon. At number 44 is Unfezant, simply for the fact that Unfezant is the worst starting bird Pokemon of all time. At number 43 is Tauros, and even though Tauros came in pretty clutch for Ash in a couple key situations throughout his journey, I don't really like the fact that he just randomly caught 30 Tauros and they're all just sitting at Professor Oak's lab. Like, there isn't really anything bad about it because that obviously happened during this Safari Zone episode. That just kind of really rubbed me the wrong way for whatever reason. At number 42 is Boldore, and while I don't have any sort of specific disdain for Boldore, I don't really like it either, and there are a bunch more of Ash's Pokemon that I simply like more. At number 41 is Glalie, and similar to Leavanny, I'm always surprised whenever I'm reminded of the fact that Ash did own a Glalie because it just doesn't seem like a Pokemon that fits very well on an Ash Ketchum team in my opinion. Speaking of reused plots, at number 40 is Crocodile, and while I was originally going to have Crocodile way higher on this list because I really like it as a Pokemon, I actually kind of hate Ash's Crocodile because it completely ripped off the plotline of Ash's Squirtle. Both are Pokemon that are leaders of a particular group of Pokemon, and both wear signature sunglasses, and then of course Ash eventually catches both of them. Now, I know that Black and White is supposed to be sort of a soft reboot of Generation 1, and I know that the Black and White anime is already considered the worst season of the Pokemon anime, but this is just ridiculous. Like, can you not think of any original ideas or storylines for your anime, like ever? Coming in at number 39 is Aipom, and while I really like Aipom as a Pokemon, Ash didn't really own his Aipom for that long before trading it to Dawn for her Buizel. At number 38 is Snivy, and while Snivy technically has its own original backstory, it's not really that much different from what we've been talking about before, because with Snivy, it basically abandoned its trainer for not being worthy of it in its eyes, which is the exact opposite of the whole Tepig situation, so yeah, kind of original, but still not really. At number 37 is Swellow, and even though I really like Swellow, I got 2 words for you. Thunder, Armor. At number 36 is Corphish, and while there are plenty of other of Ash's Pokemon that I really like more, I always have enjoyed Corphish simply because I think its voice in the anime is really funny. At number 35 is Oshawott, and while I really do like Oshawott as a Pokemon, and I think it has a great personality in the anime, it does have one of the lowest win percentages of any of Ash's Pokemon, which could obviously only get it so high on the list. At number 34 is Primeape, and the only reason why Primeape is so low on the list is because it wasn't really around for that long before Ash left it to go train, and basically we never saw it again. But other than that, it's a fantastic Pokemon, and its personality in the anime is just absolutely amazing. At number 33 is Buizel, and while I absolutely have no problems whatsoever with Ash's Buizel, there are just plenty more of Ash's Pokemon that I simply like more. Coming up next at number 32 is Poipole, and even though this next part is technically spoilers because it hasn't happened in the English dub of the anime yet, so you've been warned, but even though Ash only had Poipole for a short time before releasing it, I still think it's really cool that he was able to have a Pokemon on his team like this that's basically a legendary, like, I mean, it's not quite a legendary, but it basically is at the same time. I mean, either way, really super cool. At number 31 is Torracat, and while I'm really not a fan that much of Torracat, and I think you guys know how I feel about Incineroar, the Litten that evolved from this Torracat obviously has an amazing and very emotional story in the anime, so I had to give it some props for that. At number 30 is Torterra, and while I really like Torterra as a Pokemon and I think it's awesome that Ash owned one, it doesn't really have the best win percentage in the anime either. At number 29 is Staraptor, and while much like other Pokemon on this list, I don't have any problem with Staraptor, there are other Pokemon ahead of it that I obviously like more, and there are also other Pokemon that have a better win percentage. At number 28 is Sceptile, and Sceptile basically has the same thing going on that Staraptor does, but also at this point in the list we're starting to get into the iconic category, and I don't think that Sceptile is quite as iconic as some of these other Pokemon that I'm about to mention. Speaking of iconic, at number 27 is Pidgeot, and even though Pidgeot was only technically around for 1 episode before Ash released it, and even though Pidgeotto technically had the worst win percentage of any of Ash's Pokemon, not winning a single battle according to this graphic, it's still obviously a very iconic Pokemon, so I had to give it some points for that. At number 26 is Gliscor, and even though Gliscor isn't really among my favorite Pokemon ever, Ash's Gliscor in particular is very expressive and has a ton of personality, and I really enjoy when they give that to Pokemon, so it definitely deserves a higher up spot on the list. Speaking of Pokemon with personality, at number 25 we have Muck, and Muck has an amazing personality that's just a ton of fun to watch in the anime, and even though Muck is also one of those Pokemon that you wouldn't really expect a Pokemon trainer like Ash Ketchum to catch, it really works out perfectly because Muck obviously came in super clutch for Ash during the Indigo League. At number 24 is Heracross, and even though yes, there are better Pokemon on this list in terms of design, in terms of personality, and in terms of win percentage, Heracross is still a solid as heck Pokemon. At number 23 is Hawlucha, and Hawlucha is kind of like Heracross in that it's really solid all the way around, but I really love that Ash caught it because it's one of my favorite Pokemon from Kalos and has such a unique design. Coming up next at number 22 is Talonflame, and even though Talonflame didn't have the greatest win percentage in the world, I absolutely love it as a Pokemon, and I love that Ash was able to catch one, so that really got it a lot of points on my personal ranking. Shooting itself all the way up to number 21 on the list is Scraggy, and even though I thought Scraggy originally was going to be low on the list, I absolutely admire the heck out of this Pokemon because A, it has a really good win percentage despite being a smaller first stage Pokemon, and I really love its attitude in the anime, not being afraid of anyone and being basically willing to take on anything. Like, that is something I really respect. At number 20 is Donphan, and while Donphan does have a solid winning percentage, the reason why Donphan made it so high on this list is basically for its design itself. I love Donphan as a Pokemon, and I absolutely love Phanpy to death, so the fact that Ash raised a Phanpy from a Pokemon egg and we got to see it hatch and everything really means a lot to me and basically makes it one of my favorites. At number 19 is Noivern, and Noivern makes it this high on the list simply for the fact that it's a cool as heck Pokemon, and I love that Ash was able to own one because it gave Ash some real firepower on his Kalos team. At number 18 is Bayleaf. Now, obviously Chikorita is where it's really at when it comes to this whole line in terms of the anime, but Bayleaf still has an amazing personality, much like Chikorita does as well, and it's got a pretty solid winning percentage too. At number 17 is Lycanroc, and obviously Lycanroc is a pretty new addition to Ash's team, but Lycanroc is still an amazing Pokemon, so it's great to see Ash be able to own one. At number 16 is Rowlet for a number of reasons. 1, cute. 2, spherical. 3, it's freaking pretty adorable in the anime and has a great personality. Speaking of grass starter Pokemon with amazing personalities, at number 15 we have Bulbasaur, and you can't really ever go wrong with Bulbasaur. It obviously was pretty strong in the anime, but its personality being so tough and headstrong and being basically kind of like a big brother sort of figure to the rest of Ash's Pokemon was really cool to see, and if I am remembering this correctly, I really love the fact that Bulbasaur, even though it had the chance to evolve in that one episode, decided that it did not want to evolve because it wanted to show what it could do as a Bulbasaur, and that is just respectable as heck. At number 14 is Totodile, and in addition to just being an amazing Pokemon in general, the personality of Ash's Totodile is just second to none, which got it a very high ranking on this list. At number 13 is another one of Ash's Johto Pokemon, and that would be Noctowl. Now, while Noctowl doesn't really have an amazing win percentage or an amazing personality like Totodile does, for instance, I really enjoy the fact that Ash got to own a shiny Pokemon, and it was actually the very first shiny Pokemon that we ever saw in the anime, making it pretty iconic. At number 12 is Kingler, and all I've got to say is At number 11 is Lapras, and come on here, you don't really get much more iconic than Ash's Lapras. Granted, according to this graphic, Lapras does have a 0 win percentage, but that's also because it featured in the Orange Islands arc of the anime, where they didn't really do traditional Pokemon battles. It did, however, win one of Ash's gym battles where it was more so of a challenge, when Lapras beat out Blastoise, creating that ice bridge thing, and it was just freaking awesome. On top of that, it's such an iconic Pokemon for constantly carrying Ash and friends from island to island during the Orange Islands arc, and it's just a Pokemon you can never forget if you're a fan of the Pokemon anime. Coming up next in the top 10 is Gible, and while I really would have liked to have seen Gible evolve into Garchomp because it would have been amazing to see Ash own a Garchomp, Gible itself was pretty cool because it actually had a pretty dang good winning percentage, it actually participated in some Pokemon League battles, and it had a pretty awesome and funny personality as well. Coming up next at number 9 is Quilava, and while Quilava did have a pretty dang good winning percentage itself, you guys all know why Quilava is here, because Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion are all Bay and a half. Okay, now we are starting to get into the really iconic territory with number 8, Snorlax. Obviously, when you think of Pokemon, and you think of the Pokemon anime, you can't really go too long without thinking about Snorlax, and Ash's Snorlax in particular was just so amazing, and Snorlax in general in the anime was just a freaking delight, so I really enjoyed it, and hey, it's got a great winning percentage too. At number 7 is the true OG sunglasses wearing Pokemon Squirtle, and all I've got to say in regards to Squirtle is that, hey, Crocodile, you can go eat a dirty sock because Squirtle is where it's at. Oh, and by the way, it's got a pretty dang good winning percentage. Okay, this next one might actually be kind of surprising, but at number 6, we have Pikachu. Now, while Pikachu by default is going to get a very high ranking because it's Ash's main Pokemon, there are some things about other Pokemon, and about Pikachu specifically, that puts it at only the number 6 spot. That has to do with my personal opinion on the Pokemon, like, I like Pikachu, but there's other things I like better, and it doesn't really have a super good winning percentage, even though it has a pretty solid one. Coming in at number 5 is Infernape, and with Infernape is where things really start to heat up, pun not intended. With Infernape, it's basically got everything. It has the amazing win percentage, it's got the fact that it's a really cool Pokemon, and it has one of the best backstories in Pokemon, being one of those Pokemon that basically was abandoned by its trainer, but the plus side here is that it actually got to rematch the trainer that abandoned it as a fully evolved Fernape. So once again, in regards to Pokemon that rip off these actual cool Pokemon, Tepig and Pignite, go eat your heart out because Infernape is where it's at. Coming in at number 4, just barely ahead of Infernape, is Charizard, and Infernape and Charizard actually have a lot of similarities. Number 1, they're both fire starters, number 2, they're both fully evolved, and number 3, they both have great backstories. However, the reason why I gave Charizard the nod ahead of Infernape is number 1, because Charizard is just a little more iconic than Infernape in the anime, and number 2, I really love seeing Charizard's whole plot line, from it being abandoned, to it loving Ash, to it hating Ash, to it loving Ash again. I really just love that plot line, and that's kind of why I gave it the benefit of the doubt. At number 3 is Butterfree, and oh gosh, Butterfree, why? Why did you have to leave? We love you, we want you back, please come back, Butterfree, Butterfree, Butterfree. And in the runner-up spot at number 2 is Greninja, and I don't really think I need to explain this one, but I'm going to anyway. Greninja is a great Pokemon. Greninja has a great win percentage in the anime. Greninja has a great plotline to it in the anime, and it has one of the best bonds, probably actually the greatest bond, with Ash that we've ever seen in the anime, and it's basically the only time a bond like that has ever happened, not only in the anime, but really in the history of the Pokemon world, so you can't help but give Greninja major props. And finally, at number 1, in my opinion, Ash's greatest Pokemon that he's ever had, and yes, this is going to have a little bit of a personal flavor to it, is Goodra. Now, you might wonder why I put Goodra at number 1 when you've got other iconic Pokemon like Greninja and Charizard and Pikachu behind it. Well, let me explain. Number 1, even though this graphic isn't 100% accurate because Goodra did end up losing to Alon in the Kalos League, it obviously still has a very good winning percentage, so it's got that going for it. Number 2, Goodra is one of my favorite all-time Pokemon, and I really can't deny that that's going to be a major factor. I said it in the beginning, I've been saying it throughout the video, like my opinion on these Pokemon is going to affect their rankings, that's just the way it is. However, number 3, I think its whole plotline in the anime specifically is just really cool. It starts out as a Gumi who gets kicked out of its homeland, it finds Ash, Ash catches it, evolves it into a Goodra, it eventually makes its way back to its homeland with Ash, it kicks out all of those mean Pokemon that took over its homeland, therefore basically becoming the king of the jungle again, kind of, and then it emotionally gets released by Ash so it can protect its homeland, which even though it kind of sucks is a very valid reason to be released, and then finally, just to have the cherry on top, even though it was released by Ash, it actually came back and joined him in the Kalos League and helped him kick some butt. Obviously, there is just a laundry list of details that make Goodra the best, and in my mind, so far, Ash's greatest Pokemon that he has ever owned. And there we have it, everybody. Now, honestly, just like with any other personal Pokemon list, this obviously is my own opinion. I tried to pull from as many factors as I possibly could to create as comprehensive of a list as I possibly could, but obviously my opinion is going to reflect on this, just like your opinion is going to reflect on your personal list for Ash as well. With that being said though, please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and please leave your personal rankings for Ash's Pokemon in the comments below. Even if it's just the top 5 or top 10, I would really like to hear what you guys have to say. Finally, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more new Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I've got a ton of great stuff in the works. And finally, be sure to follow me on Spotify and go listen to my remixes, because this is the last month for the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee contest. The cutoff date for this is going to be October 31st, and at that point, if we have 6,000 monthly listeners, we will be holding a giveaway for a copy of Let's Go Pikachu and a copy of Let's Go Eevee, and we're less than 300 listeners away, so we can easily hit that. With all that being said though, I will be back on Tuesday for another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can know as soon as it goes live, and until then, as always, I love ya, and I will smell you guys later.